All right, guys, wait till you find out the story of our first guest. You're really going to love this guy. He has a rags to riches story that proves a person can do whatever they set their minds to. He grew up in a dangerous neighborhood, became entangled in the drug trade, got caught big time, and went to prison. For many people, that would be it. That would be the end. But for him, it really was truly just a beginning. He refused to settle for this fate. He went on from felon to CEO, and this South Bronx native doubled the revenue of DM Ice Cream Corporation to over $6 million in his first 3 years as CEO, and he's making the company New York City's largest ice cream sub-distributor, supplying over 2,000 grocery stores and bodegas in the 5 boroughs. Please be prepared to be blown away. Let me introduce Mr. Roy Castro! Pleasure to meet you, man. Pleasure to meet you. Have a seat. Yes!
What's up?
This is real. This is real.
It don't get realer.
Woo! You look good, man.
Thank you, sir. So
talked to him for a long time on the phone, and we had our producers had to get us off the phone because we were doing our pre-phone interviews, and we were just gone. We started really having a great conversation. You have an incredible story, and I want to get right to it. I don't want to waste any time. People that are watching, community you're watching at home or on your devices and here in studio, get ready for your questions. If you have any questions for Roy, I'm pretty sure some of you are going to want to get those in. I want to make sure we do that before we run out of time with him. Let's go back to your childhood for a quick second here. Sure. At the age of around 11-ish, 13, 11-ish, sure. You were living right on 28th Street in a hotel, a motel.
A welfare hotel.
Welfare, I should
very
specify.
specific hotel.
I should specify.
A little different than a hotel.
It's a little different than a hotel.
Yeah.
Your mother had fallen victim to what a lot of other people have fallen victim to, and that was drugs. Sure. And you only at that age you had to be the man of the household. Sure. And you didn't know any other way but to get food and to do what you had to do to get food. Yeah. So that started a life of crime and petty robberies and things of that nature, right? Tell me about the first time you landed behind bars when you were young, and what was that feeling like? What was going through, and what were you processing at that moment? You didn't have a dad at home for role model's sake. You didn't even know how to tie a tie. No. You didn't know a lot of the basic things that many people that have, structured homes have the advantage of. So tell me a little bit about that moment in time and what was going on in your mind.
Well, at that time, I wouldn't see my mother at the time for like weeks on end. So at that time, it was about feeding myself. It was about eating and trying to figure out where to find food and how to find the means, to eat. Uh-huh. And the people around at that time were the local drug dealers, right? Those were the guys there. Those are the people supporting me. Those are the people, they saw me hungry. They was the people giving me money. And naturally, at some point, they stopped giving you free money. At some point, you got to earn it, right? So I was roughly about 12, 13 years old, and now I had to earn it. And I should have known I was going to be unsuccessful as a drug dealer because my first day selling drugs, when they gave me the first pack, I got arrested, right?
Right out the gate?
Like right out the gate, like right out the gate, like literally on 28th Street, on Park Avenue, on 28th Street and Park Avenue, like I got arrested, like first day.
Yeah.
So, I got arrested that day. They took me to a juvenile, and the most fearful thing at the time was they got a hold of my mom's, and I heard my mother's voice was outside, the cell.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I'm gonna get in trouble. So that was like the scariest thing, and it was, my head, it was.
And I'm looking at some pictures right here. We see some pictures of you and hanging out. This looks like a little bit of, thug love, maybe a little bit there.
There's a whole
little Beamer action at a very young age. I didn't have a Beamer at that age, man. I don't even want to know.
That was probably
enough to drive.
No, that was about 16 years old right there.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So you were really in this.
Yeah, no, I was in it.
This was your way out. This is what you knew to do at the time.
Absolutely.
At what moment did that vision start to change? What happened in your life that said, I can't, we're going down the wrong path here? What took place?
It's called the Federal Bureau of Investigation.
The feds came knocking?
When I first got arrested, they said, the state of New York versus Roy Castro. And then when the feds came knocking and I went to court, it said, the United States of America versus Roy Castro.
Wow.
And that was a wake-up call. That mahogany wood and the magistrate sitting behind there, it was like, it was very intimidating. And that's when I knew that things got real.
Yeah.
Right? And in there, when I got inside the federal prison, and that's when I said, it's time.
Now, when we were talking on the phone, you were in federal prison, and there was this moment where you say, and you need to explain this for me.
Sure.
Explain the cafeteria arrangement and how there were two different TV sets in two different communities watching televisions in the same prison scenario. Explain this environment.
Sure, it's very interesting. So I'm sure people probably done heard that the federal prison, it's a club fed, right? Because at one time, a lot of rich, people that got caught for white collar crime, they would go to the federal prison, and you hear they in tennis and they in pool clubs, right? Like that's the vision that I had in my head with the federal.
Right.
And then at some point they started arresting hood. They started going into the projects, arresting local regular drug dealers, not just white collar crime. Now there's a mix, right? Now there's drug dealers in there, there's gang members, and there's your local stockbroker there that messed up on, on the stock.
Right.
And so what happened was the division goes by TV.
The division inside the prison is by TV.
You know where to sit on the TV.
Is that right?
If there's news on this channel, that's where all the squares go to, right? They're all over here, all the stock people, they watching CNN or something of that nature. And on this side where you see BET, Black Music Entertainment, right? For rap videos, you see all the brothers.
We got Lil Wayne on one side of the ring,
you got
and we got CNN Money on the other side of the room.
That's what it looked like.
Look like?
No, that's what I mean.
That's it.
I mean, on one side over here, they reading the Source magazine. Over there, they reading the Barron's, and some pink newspaper that I didn't know what it was at the time, which is the Financial Times. I find out later on in time.
Yep.
So what happened was I was looking at the TV and I'm looking at a Lil Wayne video, and at the time was the song Bling Bling.
Oh,
Remember where they was all in your face with the money?
Oh yeah,
right?
Shining,
yeah,
right? Absolutely.
So I'm looking at that, and I look, and I'm like, these people keep bragging about this money they got, and I looked at the folks on the other side, on the other TV, and they had like the stocks, like the tickets for the stocks was there, but it was all these numbers, and I couldn't understand it.
Matrix.
Looked at just like the Matrix.
Yeah.
So I'm looking, I'm like, yo, what the hell?
So the juxtaposition that you're feeling right now is like you're watching one video that's talking about we're flashing, we're styling, we got this money, we're spending it.
Sure.
And then you have this other part of the room that's looking at money, but looking at a completely different perspective and a viewpoint on money, and something that you don't understand at the time.
I didn't understand it. So I just called my sister, my sister Denise, Denise Castro. I called her and I said, babe, I need to learn about this. I don't know what's going on. I need a Stocks for Dummy book. I need anything, Stocks for Dummy, anything that had to do with bonds and stocks for dummy. And
she was sending it to you.
I said, yo, send me that book. And then she sent me that book. Then in that book, I read about Peter Lynch. I said, you know what, there's this guy, send me his book. I saw a Goldman Sachs book. Send me this book on Goldman Sachs. I need to understand what Goldman Sachs is talking about. Then I didn't understand a lot of the words. So I asked my sister, send me an unabridged dictionary. So like, imagine getting that through customs, right? It's like, the book was like this big, right?
Yeah.
And so she sent me that book.
What is the other cellmates saying at this time? Are they saying, what are you reading? Why are you reading this? Are you wasting your time? Were you starting to be isolated from them, or were you starting to flock to the other group to create new company, new partnerships, new friends?
Sure.
What was happening?
So it was a weird phenomenon that was going on in there, right? And this is the words of the correction officers. They called it a weird phenomenon. Those are their words. Because of my position in the prison, I wasn't in, thank goodness I wasn't one of the guys being pushed around. I was kind of the opposite. I was actually more, on that bully side and making sure that territory, that was just law of the land.
Yeah.
So when I started converting with the people who read stocks and understood that stuff, and then I got a book. Somebody recommended a book for me, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. First.
Stephen Covey. Right? Yes.
So what Stephen Covey said in the book was the best way to learn is to teach. So when I read a stock book, I go to the hood, to my hood friends, and I got a room in the back, and I said, come on, I'm gonna start a curriculum here. I'm gonna teach y'all about stock. So the prison and MCC, they gave me permission to start a whole curriculum to teach a class there on every book that I read. So it was a perfect blend. You had all these guys with do-rags on and listening to rap music, learning about stocks.
Amazing. So now it's clicked. Now you got this bug.
Yeah.
Now you feel like you're helping other people. You're learning.
Yeah.
You're starting to understand. You get out.
Yeah.
Right? But the system didn't prepare you to get out.
No.
So you end up coming across an organization called Strive here in New York City.
Sure.
That does phenomenal work for people that are underrepresented and have gone through tough times like yourself. Sure. Tell me a little bit about how Strive stepped in and what they did to prepare you, because what I want your story to do is help someone else that may not have a Strive right there, or maybe they have one in their local chapter or local area, they can look it up. But I want you to kind of give the lessons that you learn in Strive because you were also pretty much a bullhead, like you said. You were able to hold your own and be kind of like hot-tempered. How did Strive step into your life to kind of help set you straight so that you can get to the point of raising over $6 million for your company?
Listen, Strive, you know, I literally feel I owe my life to Strive. And I say that every chance I get. Because when I walked into Strive, I was, you know, my pants were still sagging. I really didn't know how to tie a tie. And they had a policy, you gotta come in there with a tie. You know, you gotta come in there fairly dressed up. I didn't have no dress clothes, right? And, you know, before I went in, they wasn't really, you know, internet and all that wasn't really, you know.
Yeah.
So they taught me, they said, you know, how to get prepared for Excel sheets, PowerPoint. But
all this is foreign to you.
This is you know, what was this?
Yeah.
I don't know what this is, right? Like this is, what y'all talking about, right?
Right.
But the biggest thing that Strive taught me, when they saw that I had an ego, they said, Roy, you're a good guy, but you know, you got an ego. But I said, well, you know, I'm used to putting somebody in an awkward position for skipping the line on me on a microwave. Right? I mean,
you're gonna jump in front of me in a microwave?
That's a violation where I'm coming from.
Right.
So you have to have that kind of an ego to survive. It's survival of the fittest. So now I come out here, everything's offensive to me. So what Strive did for me was, my biggest issue was, Roy, we could get you a job. We could get you a job.
Yeah.
But with that ego, you're not gonna keep the job. So the question, the solution that Strive had to solve was, how do we get Roy to keep his job? And that was to deal with my ego.
What was the first situation where you were in working and you realized, oh, this is what Strive taught me. I'm ready. I can handle this.
That came at the time where a manager of mine, Maurice Hodge.
You remember the name?
Oh, he's my best friend in the world right now.
Was he? Okay. Was he your best friend then?
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Right?
What did he do? What did he do?
So he's like, you know, he's one of those people that they, you know, one of those exaggerating, when they say your managers is like this, and I thought they was exaggerating.
Yeah.
No, this guy was really that person.
Okay.
And then he was I was about 2 minutes late, you know, that day, and he said, oh, he's talking to me on the phone, and he's screaming at me like talking to me so disrespectful that I said, listen, I'm on my way over there. And when I get there, we're gonna have the biggest issue. So on my drive over there, I said, I'm just gonna knock this guy out. It was
done.
And then when Strive taught me, Strive said this was gonna happen. Strive said this. So when I got there, and he came in my face, he said, we gonna bump past. I said, no, we not. I just sat down, he looked at me. He said, what do you mean? I said, I was late, and you was right.
Wow.
Strive, because I kept having Strive in my head.
It's a big moment.
It's a big moment. Ever since then, he took a liking to me, and thanks to him, he's the one that helped me grow through the company. Because of what Strive taught me, he saw the difference in me.
Yeah.
And that was the difference. That was the fork in the road.
Yeah. Where's Is Maurice watching the show, you think, right now?
He's in Florida right now. He must be watching Mo. You know, Mo must be watching this show right now.
Big shout outs to Mo for that. That's a big step. What I also, absolutely. No, that's a big step. Because when you come across people in life, if they're not that supportive, and then you gain their respect because you humbled yourself, that is a completely different thing. A lot of times people don't want to admit when they're wrong. And that's where a lot of the problems start. When you can look at yourself in the mirror and actually say, I have an issue with this, let me deal with it. Let me find the tools and the tactics to help me. And you did just that. Speaking of that, we have a clip of you. I want to show a little bit because you've done so well with Strive that now you are like the de facto spokesperson to some extent. Look at all the commendations you've been getting, the awards you've been getting. You recently spoke to a Strive graduating class, and I want everyone to watch this clip and also see who one of your new friends are. Let's take a look at this clip.
My mentor, Martin Kelly, he in attendance today as well. He wrote me an email after I sent him an invitation, and he said to me, Roy, you used to be judged by the company that you kept. Now look at you now. And I said, oh, well, you know, look at some of my new friends, right? What's up, Lauren?
For those that do not know, For those who do not know, that's Warren Buffett that he was shouting out. That's Warren Buffett. That's one of his new friends.
Yeah.
So that's a big. Come on, you don't come from the South Bronx with that background and then be able to be on the same stage with someone like Warren Buffett and all of the other friends that now have become from that. And now you have taken this ice cream sub-distribution company to a whole other level. Over 2,000 grocery stores are carrying your product in over 5 bodegas. And as I mentioned, those are probably a little bit old numbers with the 6 mil. I know you're already hiring new people as well. I want to get right to some of your secrets of success, if you don't mind. I know you have quite a few of them. So can we just jump right into a couple of some of your favorites?
Sure.
What's the first one that comes to mind that you like? I know we talked a little bit about taming the ego. There's one right there. But you said yes when others say no. I love this part of your story. Break this down for everybody.
Yeah, so what I found is that when people are working at a certain place and they didn't come from certain environments and have certain struggles, they get real complacent in their jobs, right? They feel that they're owed something. They feel that they owe something. They feel they could say no. It just, the ambition somewhere stops and they just have, look, I just work here. I did my 9 to 5. I'm going home. So I saw that as an opportunity.
Yeah.
So when I said, how I'm going to make it in this company, I said, you know what I got to do? I saw a lot of people saying no to the managers. And I said, I'm going to say yes to everything they ask. And when I hear somebody say no, I'm going to go right behind them and go to the manager. What you asked them? I'll do that for you.
That right there, can we just hold that thought? Because that is a fresh, different perspective. A lot of times you're in an office environment and you hear Angie shaking her head up and down. I know you are, because you're like, you know what that's like. Everybody's been around an environment where they hear someone turn something else down, but I don't know that everyone's thought is, maybe I should just go ahead and step up to the plate and see if I can do it. So that became a part of your formula for success.
Sure.
And then you got to asking for crumbs. What does this mean?
So it's all about asking for the crumbs.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
So
low-hanging fruit?
This is about all you rich people out there, right? Got all this money. And y'all don't think about, or what happens is some business get so big that some of the, like, and you get so big in supermarkets, because this is what happened. Supermarket business is so big, it's big business, that there's some little mom and pop stores like the Jamaican stores over on Church Avenue, the Golden Crusters of the world, and these little fried fish stores that the big people didn't want to go sell to them because they was too big. They literally crumbs. So I went to the owner of the company one time. I said, listen, I don't know what you're doing with these. Nah, we just not gonna sell them no more. I said, you ain't, like, it's over?
Right.
He said, he's like, no more?
Right.
He said, yeah. I said, can I go get a little truck? Can I service them? And he was like, yeah, you want them? Go ahead. So what happened there was that I started servicing those crumbs.
Right.
And then I created 1 route, 2 route, 3 out of those crumbs.
Nice.
So that's the philosophy behind give me your crumbs.
It's a very, very important philosophy because everybody looks for the big thing to go after first. And it's like if you can get in the door, I call it from free to fee. If you can get in the door, then you can work your way up from there.
Sure.
Before we let you go, there was one moment where you had to actually pick up the phone and make a call. This was a very important moment with you and your wife. Walk us through that really quick. You're in the kitchen, and tell me about this time period. What was going through your mind, and what was the phone call, and why was this important?
Well, it was November 23rd.
You remember the date.
It was November 23rd, and we had, the business was going, we was, and I wanted to know how to scale the business, how to go further, and I didn't know how. And I had Dina Power's number in my wallet.
Who is she?
Dina Power, today she's a Deputy National Security Advisor.
Wow.
Second to probably McMaster's.
Okay.
Right? And I had her number in my wallet for several years, and I never used it. So I asked my wife, who's in this, who's here with me today.
Yeah, and we got a picture of her.
Yeah.
Where's the wife? Stand up.
Right
Stand
there,
up,
Maria.
Wife. Stand up.
Good.
Hey, Maria, what's up? That's like, yes.
So I was nervous. I said, babe, because I don't want to bother people. So
Okay.
should I bother? So my wife pretty much, she encouraged me, and she said, babe, what do you got to lose? And I'm like sitting on with the computer on, just sitting down on the couch, and she said, just write the email, babe.
Yeah.
Write the email. So I wrote the email, and I got a response immediately saying, Roy, I remember you. I remember being thoroughly impressed by you. And Dina Power responded right there, and from that moment.
What's the moment you learned there that you want to share with other people that are holding on to fear or making assumptions about expectations or about outcomes? Is there anything that you learned from that particular moment?
Sure. Well, it's the old adage of closed mouth don't get fed, right? If I was quiet, having that number, and I don't use my voice, right, then I get nothing. So everything, even with Strive, when I walked into Strive, I went into Strive years after I had graduated. Had I not walked into Strive, just say, look, I'm Roy, I graduated, you know, I wouldn't be here talking with you today, right? So it's all about a closed mouth don't get fed, and I don't have a problem talking.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So
and you speak your truth.
Right?
You speak your truth.
And while we at it, and with the ice cream business, just a little touch on it. I did grow it to you know, $6 million at the time, but you know, I didn't do it alone. It was my business partner, Louis Campito, and I just want to make sure I mention Louis Campito because he was also very instrumental, and he was also another person that had a lot of faith in me. You know, Louis, my ice cream partner, had a lot of faith in me. And I love him for that.
Yeah, that's fantastic, man. No, it's all about having support in the environment. Look, we have people really quick, and then I got to give you a present before you go.
Sure.
Jay Miner says, perfect example of that you don't have to be a product of your environment. Jack had a quick question. He said, what is the most important lesson he learned from prison that he used in business to be successful? Do you have a quick answer for that one?
That I learned in prison?
That you learned in prison.
Patience.
Wow. Patience.
Patience. You know how many deals don't happen when they say it's going to happen?
Yeah, so many, man. Don't get us crying in here.
You know how many
start
deals?
Talking about how many no's we get.
I mean, but how many
times you get the crickets?
To get to here. How long did they say we're going to do this next month? And then it didn't happen.
Right.
But I waited because I had a lot of patience.
Yeah, patience.
I'll wait.
All right, we're going to end on that note. Sarah says, such good advice. Sean says, awesome advice. All right, I got a little gift for you and family, man. Let me grab this really quick from Mike. Thank you, sir. Appreciate this. This right here, my friend, is a canvas picture. This right here is a canvas picture of you at Strive, prepared to work, determined to succeed. Absolutely. You are the epitome of that. You are a glowing example of circumstances do not predict outcomes. And we really appreciate your story, what you continue to do, the role modelship that you continue to show others and to lead. And I just want to give FedEx, thank you for this FedEx office, because the canvas print is really, really beautiful. Look, our partners at FedEx hooked this up, and they have an amazing deal on personalized canvas prints. You can get one of these done too, if you want that as well. They make unique gift ideas at any time. Anyone will actually cherish these things. And it's like a lasting work of art. You feel this. You feel this yourself. It's like a lasting work of art.
Oh, no, this is beautiful.
Great, right?
Oh,
Turn your favorite photos into ready-to-hang canvas prints. You get it put right over the little frame. And they got buy one, get one free right now.
It's Christmas, y'all.
It's Christmas, y'all. Hey, let's Roy Castro. Let's give him a big round of applause, please. Yes, yes.